Alright, so just got to the movie theaters. Had a 12:30 showing. Canceled it. Now I'm at the 3 o'clock showing for the Batman opening day. Give y'all my out of the theater reaction. Do a review. I'm excited about this. Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Andy Serkis. Come on, man. Alright, peace.
Get you out of here.
Why are you so handsome?
My dad was a weatherman.
Alright, so just got done seeing the Batman. I'll say this. The first 2 acts, it's the best Batman movie ever. Like, literally, the first 2 acts are some of the best shits I've ever seen in a Batman movie. The third act makes it fall right behind The Dark Knight. The third act falls apart. It's not a great ending, I'll be honest. But the rest of the movie is fantastic. I have no words. I'm kind of speechless. Haven't seen Batman like this on screen. I can't get some of the shit, like the car chase scene, all that shit. I'll get the whole review when I get home. First 2 acts, best Batman movie ever. Third act makes it fall right behind The Dark Knight. Alright, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I did my first review, but this one is a big one. This one is a special one. This one is The Batman 2021. Yes, The Batman starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Andy Serkis, Paul Dano. Wow, what a movie. What a movie. Now, I will start by saying this. Do I think it's better than The Dark Knight? Nah. And I'll tell you why. The first 2 acts of this movie, it's the best Batman movie ever. If you just take the first 2 acts. Once it enters the third act, that's what takes it under The Dark Knight. Like, it's up here. To me, I'm sitting in that theater. I'm like, whew, it's the best Batman movie I've ever seen. Then the third act comes and it just goes. And not that I think the third act is like terrible or horrible, but it's not that good, or at least even remotely as good as the first 2 acts. Like, and let's get into it. First, I want to start off with Robert Pattinson. Now, I can understand why some people may have their reserves about Robert Pattinson as Batman, especially if all you've seen is Twilight. If that's all you've seen, I guess I can understand. Me personally, I like the Twilight movies, and I personally thought Robert Pattinson, I don't like all the Twilight movies. I think the second one is pretty piss poor. But Robert Pattinson is great in all of them. Like, he's fantastic. Now, if you've seen Robert Pattinson's work past Twilight, you know he was a great choice for Batman. Like, a fantastic pick for Batman. He's simply a fantastic actor. And there's no problem with getting a good actor to play a great role. Like, as soon as I heard he was cast, I was like, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Because, like, I know people don't like him from Twilight, but I personally liked him in Twilight. And then I've liked him in everything else I've seen after that. So I thought he was going to be great. Let me tell you, he's fucking fantastic as Batman. To me, he is the best Batman we've seen on screen. There is no such thing as Bruce Wayne in this movie. Like, Bruce Wayne is, of course he's mentioned that's who he is. But I mean, as far as Robert Pattinson playing Batman, that's it. That's all. There's one scene, and I'm not giving any spoilers away. There's one scene in the movie where I felt like, all right, that's Bruce Wayne. It's only one scene, though. The rest of the movie, he is Batman. Like, oh my, he is the definition. When Ben Affleck started to show us how Batman should be portrayed on screen, Robert Pattinson took that and said, yeah, I'm Batman, bitch. Like, I have no words for his performance. His performance was absolutely fantastic. To me, he's the best Batman we've seen on screen. Like I said, there's no Bruce Wayne. Like, Bruce just doesn't exist like the entire movie. There's some points in the movie, I'll say 75% of the movie, he's in the bat suit, right? Like, he's Batman in the bat suit. And the other 25, he's out. And, he's just walking around without the bat suit on, but that's still Batman. Like, there's no Bruce Wayne there. It's fully Batman. Now, and I thought that was well portrayed by Robert Pattinson. Like, his stares, his gazes, the action, the dialogue, the way he delivered some of the lines. Dude, he was fantastic as Batman. Zoe Kravitz's performance was absolutely fantastic as Catwoman. It's hard to describe without giving away spoilers, so I'll just leave it at that. She was fantastic as Catwoman. I don't even want to talk about some of the things that happened in the movie because I don't want to risk giving anything away. And their chemistry together. Robert Pattinson's chemistry with Zoe Kravitz was off the wall. Like, I've never really felt the Batman Catwoman relationship. I've never really bought into that relationship. This movie made me buy into that. It showed me why they would, instantly have this connection and vibe with each other. And it was really, really well done. Let me just talk about the director for a second, Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is a god. Like, you're a god for that. The direction in this movie is fantastic. Now, like I said, the third act falls off. And I do think, let me address this right now. I on the car ride home, and I'm just recording this as I got home, so I haven't had much time to think about it, but I've been trying to think of how do you bring it all together in the third act without doing what he did. And I can't think of one. Like, to me, I can't think, there is a better way, because I just didn't like that. I didn't like the way the third act started, progressed, and ended. I thought there is a much better way, but then I'm like, well, can I come up with that better way? And I can't. So I can't fault them too much for doing what they did, but there is a better way to end this movie and just do the entire third act. There's a better way. But besides that, I think the direction of the movie was fantastic. Like I said, the first two acts, it's the best Batman movie I've ever seen. And it has a lot to do with where they were going and the direction it was going in. And when people say, I'll just tell you, when people say this movie is like Seven, it's a thriller, mystery kind of movie, they're right. It's a lot of Seven in this movie. A lot of Seven. Even Paul Dano's performance as the Riddler reminds me a lot of Kevin Spacey's performance in Seven. I know we're not supposed to talk about Kevin Spacey, but his performance in Seven, I'll talk about that all day. It was absolutely fantastic. I feel like Paul Dano captured a lot of that and brought it into this movie, and it worked so well. And yeah, Paul Dano, let's just talk about him for a second. Paul Dano killed it as the Riddler. Killed it. Like, I had my theories going into it, but I left those at the door as I walked into the movie. And from the jump, when you see the Riddler on screen, he invokes fear in your heart. And it was absolutely well done. Each time I saw the Riddler, I feared for people's lives. Kind of the same for Batman. Each time Batman was walking up on somebody, I feared for their lives. Like, not just he's gonna beat them down. Like, he might accidentally kill him. But and then now let's just talk about the story. I'm not gonna give away spoilers. The story in this movie, like I said, it breaks down at the end. But the first two acts, particularly the second act of this movie, is so fantastic. Like, it just pulls you in. It didn't feel like 3 hours. Like, the movie just flew by. I will say the last act made it slow down, but it still didn't even. By the time I got to the third act, I'm like, well, I'm here now, and plus, it's almost over. You can tell when you're entering the third act. You're like, all right, this movie is about to end soon. It's fantastic. Like the chemistry between Robert Pattinson and Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright is James Gordon. They're like, I will say this, they're like partners in this movie, and it's fantastic. It's the best portrayal of James Gordon and Batman that I've seen on screen, because he's legit his partner. He's legit trying to help him figure out what is going, like, what is the Riddler on right now? Like, what is this dude on? It just works so well. Honestly, I think that's my favorite part about the movie is the detective work between James Gordon and Batman. It's so good. It's so good. And that just reminded me of two particular parts. And I'll talk about this part first. The car chase scene that you see in the trailers, I think in almost every trailer they've put out, you've seen a little bit of that car chase scene. Whew, gave me chills. Like, it's fantastic. The way the Batmobile is introduced, that it's the best Batmobile I've seen on screen. Like, people still love the Tumbler, that's great. This Batmobile, yeah, I want that. Give me that all day long. This, like, that car, that chase scene was awesome with Batman and the Penguin that you see in the trailers, where he's like, I got you. Oh my God. And that leads me into talking about Colin Farrell's Penguin. This HBO Max show that's coming out can't come fast enough, because that dude killed it as Penguin. And, you know, at first, when that was the one character in the first act, when they introduced him, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to like him going out throughout the rest of this movie. Nah, he's fantastic. And the way, no spoilers here, but the way the movie ended, and you see Penguin, and that HBO Max series is gonna be fire. Like, you just see it, and the way Colin Farrell portrayed Penguin, that's gonna be an absolute master. Like what we just got from Peacemaker, it has me so excited for this Penguin show that's coming on HBO Max. It's fantastic. And now the last thing I'll address, Gotham in this movie has a fainting heartbeat, but has a heartbeat, and you feel it. It's the only time in any of the Batman movies that I've actually felt Gotham, and it's who would want to live there? Like, like, why are y'all here? But then you understand, it's like, yeah, these people here ain't really got no choice. Like, they have to be here, and in this terrible ridden city, and that Batman's trying to desperately save this city in his own way, which is, oh, that part of the story is if you've seen the movie, you understand what I mean when I say, like, that part of the story is fantastic. Batman realizing what he needs to do to save the city, and I have very little words for this movie besides fantastic. I know I've said that a lot. It's fantastic. Like, the acting, the story, like, maybe the third act falls off and it drops it down a bit, but by the time you get to the third act, you're in. Like, you're in. You're like, I don't care at this point. Like, let's just see how it ends. And by the way, I'm saying the third act is not great, but still the ending of the movie I thought was very satisfying. I thought the very end of the movie, the way the movie wrapped up and it ended, I thought was very, very, very well done. Like, what they did in the third act, there was no real other way to end the movie. And yeah, I can't wait for the next one. There's gonna be a next one. There's not too much to say. I'll just recap it all again. Robert Pattinson, fantastic. There's no such thing as a Bruce Wayne in this movie. No such thing. Like, Bruce who? Like, there's no Bruce in this movie. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, fantastic. Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon, and Jeffrey Wright and Robert Pattinson's chemistry together as a buddy cop duo, fantastic. Like, like every scene that I think is like my favorite scene in the movie has to do with James Gordon and Robert Pattinson working together. It's so good and it's so enthralling, and it just pulls you in. And yeah, Paul Dano was absolute. I'll never listen to Alla Maria. I'll never hear that song the same, because yeah, if you've seen the movie, you know. You know. But yeah, but Paul Dano was absolutely fantastic. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Yeah, out.